and protect them all, and that at the end of their shift, Lord, take them all home safe to their family. In Jesus' name, amen, and God bless.
Thank you. Please take your seats. I want to again welcome you to the 2021 Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office Law Enforcement Memorial Ceremony. This is the first in-person ceremony we've been able to safely host since 2019. Last year, 2020, this service was held virtually. In the past year, there's no question that a lot has changed in your lives, and the same can be said for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. At a time when our nation, and the world really, was faced with so much loss and pain, we as an agency also bear the burden of losing yet another one of our heroes, Sergeant Brian Levine. We were all shocked back in January 11th, when we heard about the tragic death in the line of duty of one of our deputies. Sergeant Levine was one shift away from retirement when he was intentionally hit and killed by a fleeing suspect while responding to a call for service in Brandon. His passing challenged every member of the Sheriff's Office. I can tell you how grateful we are to have Sergeant Levine's family with us this evening. And I want you to know we share this immeasurable grief with you. We may never have answers as to why this tragedy occurred, but it is our duty to honor and never forget the spirit, service, and sacrifice he made throughout his more than 30-year law enforcement career so that we all can live in a safer Hillsborough County. We'd like to start tonight's ceremony by allowing the Levine family to join Sheriff Chad Chronister in our honor guard at the Memorial Wall, a place of honor, to unveil Sergeant Brian Levine's name for the first time. Sergeant Brian Levine will be in our hearts forever. His selfless service and ultimate sacrifice now joins a list of 17 Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office heroes etched in our beautiful memorial that will endure the sands of time. They are the reason we are gathered here tonight, along with the many other law enforcement officers across our Tampa Bay community who have lost their lives in the line of duty. We want to thank them and to show their families that our commitment to making sure their legacies live on forever will never waver. I'd now like to invite someone to the podium who really needs no introduction. She's a fifth-generation Floridian, born and raised in Plant City, who proudly backs the blue. She is the wife of a federal law enforcement agent and the top cop in all of Florida. Please welcome our Attorney General, Ashley Moody.
You know, I speak a lot in public, and I feel a lot of pressure today to do right by you and your family. I'm not even in it yet. Thank you, Sheriff. I appreciate the invitation. This has been a tough year for Florida, for Hillsborough County. Nationwide, in fact, Florida is the #1 state in many things. It is also right now the #1 state in felonious attacks on law enforcement. We've lost more officers this year already by March than we had in the entirety of last year, 3 times more. Right here in Tampa Bay, we've lost 3, and one that's so special to this community, Sergeant Levine. And that is why it is so hard to come together tonight, because we mourn those that we've lost. But it is also inspiring to hear statistics like that and see those that are still with us tonight in the uniform to support and honor each other, those that we've lost, and the families that have sacrificed so much. It's inspiring because in the face of a pandemic, all of those that you see today showed up to serve and protect others without question. And when calls to abolish this noble profession and defund it rose to the mainstream, they still showed up to protect their communities that they loved so much. I consider it an honor to be asked to be here today to memorialize our fallen heroes. And I understand fully the weight of what is at stake every time a loved one puts on a uniform and carries a badge. But it is necessary that folks will sign up for this profession. It is necessary for a nation and a state living under a rule of law that we have those that are willing to dedicate their lives to serving others. Our rule of law would be meaningless without them. As you heard, my husband is a federal agent, first an officer with a municipality and now with the federal government. And during times and days of enforcement actions, there will be a flicker, a moment where I haven't heard from him. And I understand that feeling of so many of the family members that are here today, where we fear that the worst has happened. But for all of us with loved ones who serve, and as hard as it is to live with that and experience that, what's truly amazing is that there are folks like those sitting in uniform today, wearing a badge, knowing all of these risks, that still come to work every day. They're willing to take that risk and put on a badge and stand against evil in this world. And without them, the state that we love, the country we love, would surely fail. No one who puts on a uniform and swears an oath, no one willing to make that ultimate sacrifice for their fellow Floridian does so without a heart full of love, love for their family, love for their community, and love for the freedom and security that make us a United States and a state of Florida. And for the families of the fallen officers here today, the pain of your loss, I know, is still fresh. We mourn with you. And for those of you in uniform today who lost a fellow deputy, we know that you are hurting because you too were family. And we're here today not only to mourn, but to celebrate and honor the life of the loved ones who made that ultimate sacrifice so that others could live in safety, so that others could live. More powerful than fear, as a loved one, a family member of those in this selfless service of others, more powerful than fear, there is pride. Indescribable pride that your loved one renders in service to the community. And they are part of a long line of oath takers who serve and protect. And even in death, those that we have lost inspire us. They remind us to help others. They compel us to stand for something greater than ourselves. We can never repay them. We cannot bring them back. But we can continue to say thank you and show gratitude to their families. We will keep you in our prayers. We will pray for peace and understanding of this loss. And we are here tonight with you as one law enforcement family. And we know And we know that you know. Our fallen heroes are now standing guard over us in heaven. And we thank all of those here today for continuing to serve and honor them by standing guard over this community that you love. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Attorney General Moody. We'll now begin our wreath placing ceremony, led by the Honor Guard and Sheriff Chad Chronister, who will then take the podium to share his thoughts with you tonight.
Let me begin by thanking General Moody for taking the time to be here this evening and for being our featured speaker. Thank you for your unwavering support of law enforcement and your tireless efforts in keeping our Florida community safe. Thank you, ma'am. Since 1874, we have lost 17 deputies in the line of duty, and each year we reserve a day to honor their legacy and their sacrifice. While I hoped and prayed that my duties as sheriff would never have cause to present a widow or a grieving family with a flag to honor their fallen loved one, unfortunately, this difficult charge became a reality just a few short months ago. Tonight, Sergeant Brian Levine has sadly joined this monument of heroes behind me. To his wife Kathy and children Caitlin and Aaron Liam, you have shown incredible strength and resilience. By your presence here tonight, you honor Sergeant Levine's legacy, which is forever cemented by our fallen heroes memorial and ingrained within the hearts of all of us. Surrounded by your sheriff's office family, those who have also experienced the loss of a hero and this great community, I hope that you may find some sense of comfort, healing, and strength in knowing that you are not now and never will be alone. Between January and March of this year, Sergeant Levine's death was followed by losses for our brothers and sisters at neighboring law enforcement agencies. While serving their communities, Pinellas County Deputy Michael Magley and Tampa Police Officer Jesse Madsen were also tragically killed in the line of duty. Each of these individuals, and those engraved on the memorial behind me, were a son, a husband, a father, and a friend, many of whom have loved ones joining us here tonight. While it is difficult for many to see beyond the uniform these heroes wore and the sterling badge they proudly represented, they too kissed their loved ones goodbye each day before starting their shift and quietly said a prayer that they would return home safely to the comfort and joy of their families. But sadly, their lives ended while honoring their oath in service to others. As I reflect on the dark moments that come with these tragic losses, I cannot forget the flicker of light and comfort. Complete strangers who arrived to honor our heroes, members of the public with no ties to our agencies, who stood tall and strong behind the families of our fallen, and the thousands of people who lined our highways, waving blue line flags to show their love and their support. I speak to the families of our fallen heroes tonight when I say, you truly have the backing of our community. To protect and serve is not just a motto, it's a calling. And I'm confident that our fallen heroes are looking down from above with great pride upon the men and women who are here tonight in uniform. Those who are on patrol, and for the many more who are preparing for duty tonight. Knowing that the cherished spirit of selfless service to others will always live on and will always protect the people and community they have left behind. As tonight's program comes to an end, it is our shared responsibility to never forget the men and women whose names are etched behind me. As the impact of these 17 fallen deputies is immeasurable, and I pray that they may always rest in peace. Thank you to each and every one of you for coming out this evening to celebrate our heroes.
Thank you so much, Sheriff. We'll always cherish the legacy of these deputies, and in their honor tonight, we will now read the names of all 17 of our fallen heroes. Deputy Richard Roach. Deputy William Whitehurst. Deputy Ed Aulick. Deputy Robert Suarez. Sergeant Ben Wilder, Jr. Sergeant Donald Williams. Sergeant James Straczynski. Auxiliary Sergeant Lee Hutchison. Deputy James Allen. Corporal Lemon Harvey. Deputy Fred Clark. Deputy Donna Miller. Deputy David Abella. Sergeant Ronald Harrison. Deputy Mark Longway. Deputy John Cotfilia, Jr. And Sergeant Brian Levine. For those not standing, please rise and remain standing. Please be seated. In closing, to the families of our fallen, we thank you all for being here tonight. While the wounds of your losses continue to heal, we hope you know that this is not a time of mourning, it's a time of celebration. A night to celebrate the memory of your loved ones. We hope the support of the community that surrounds you tonight brings some level of comfort. To all of our law enforcement officers here, we salute you and we sincerely thank you for your service. God bless you all, and please travel home safely.